All right, welcome you guys. Nikki Elsing, a registered dietitian, nutritionist, and wellness coach, coming to you all from Sioux Falls, South Dakota. And I'm so glad you guys are all here tonight. If anyone has their, let's just do a little check here, make sure everybody's got their stuff unmuted, or muted, I'm sorry, for me before we get started. I'll try to watch here. Okay, so Nikki Elsing, registered dietitian, nutritionist, and wellness coach out of Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Excited to have you all join me tonight. We are going to spend some time together just discussing a little bit more about nutrigenomics, health, wellness, all of the things that have kind of come in front of us really quick, right? When we're all just kind of going around doing our thing, and now it's the focus is health and wellness. And I'm excited to be able to spend this time with you and know that everybody's kind of got their own thing going on, and I know a lot more people are at home, and which includes families sometimes, so things get busy. So I appreciate your time. I'll give you a little bit of background on myself here. Basically, it's 2020, which is crazy, and back in 2011, I signed up as a distributor in LifeVantage. I'm a registered dietitian, like I was mentioning before, and I worked within a cardiovascular specialty hospital here in Sioux Falls. Absolutely loved my job, saw patients as outpatients and inpatients. I also did a lot of community education, TV work, radio. The radio is the best because you never have to worry about how your hair looks, right? And did a lot of media work in print as well, and just absolutely loved it. I did some training for staff, medical professionals, and the community, and just really had a really good job. However, I always felt like there was another way that I could have a bigger reach. And I'm proud to say that being a member in LifeVantage, a distributor in LifeVantage, that it's allowed me to be able to have that reach. And seeing a bunch of my friends, and I call them my LifeVantage family on tonight, makes it just even more special because of all the people that get brought into your life that you get to do this with. And so it's been an exciting 9 years. I've learned a lot along the way, and it's just been a really great way to spend my 9 years. And I look as I'm talking to my kids and telling them stories and talking to them about different things. They say, oh, isn't that so-and-so, and isn't that this? And they remember just different things about LifeVantage, company, staff, and that just makes me feel amazing that we're just in the right place at the right time. So back in 2011, I was spending a lot of my time lecturing on inflammation and oxidative stress. And tonight we are going to talk heavy on oxidative stress and heavy on prevention and wellness. And that was me. That was the life I was living at that point and still am. And so knowing that every day when I went to work, I would lecture probably, well, the max amount of people I probably would see was about 15. Depending on how long it would take for the conversation. But that's what I did all day long, was teaching them how heart disease and different things they needed to do with heart disease, diabetes, all that stuff, give diet instructions. And one of my major components was teaching a Mediterranean diet that we know lowers oxidative stress. And so you can imagine, once I actually sat and took the time to listen, that's the important part, took the time to listen and be open to the information, I was completely blown away, because in my job, people prospected me a lot. And unfortunately, a lot of them came to me and did not have any research to back up the products, right? And that's the difference. And I'm going to talk to you about that difference tonight. Really, really excited to be able to have you understand a little bit more about why we're doing this and why it's so important. Let's just start here. Basically, what I need you guys to know is everybody's results are different. If you don't work, you don't make any money, right? And this is just a good disclosure, letting you know, just like when you go work in your other job, if you don't show up, you don't get paid. And the same thing with LifeVantage. If you want to make this really, really successful and be very successful and you put the hours in, it will be. And so knowing you get what you give. So just want to make sure we throw that in there. But looking at these 4 components, I'm going to try to kind of keep everything a little tight tonight so that we get the point across without having to, I probably won't answer all your questions is what I'm trying to say, but the person that invited you on the call tonight and the Zoom tonight will be able to give you more of those details. And I'm always here too if anybody has questions. So component 1, we're going to talk products and science. easy science. This isn't science like when I was in college kind of science, so no worries there. Number 2, compensation. Everybody loves compensation, right? Number 3, timing, which I really didn't even think about coming into this. And I look back and go, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And it's still just as powerful timing wise. And then having a system. That is probably, you'll hear me say this a lot because I'll say that's probably my favorite, because I just have a hard time with favorites because I like so much about it. But having a system to make it easier so it doesn't stress you out is key. So let's get started with products and science. So, you know, when we look at LifeVantage, it started in a little lab, and I'm going to give you a little history on the product. And they had a single question of, hey, you know what, is this something we have to accept that our health is going to be declining, or do we have a way to be able to get in the way of this a little bit? So let's talk about discovery number 1. They're looking at genes. Remember I talked to you about Nutrigenomics, right? And so Nutrigenomics is saying, you know, you can influence your genes based on your nutrition choices. And we would have people come and talk to me all the time, and I'd say, hey, you know what, it's not because grandpa and grandma had it. You have the power to make a difference. You can change it based on what you're doing. And it's kind of easy to say, you know what, hey, I'll just deal with it when it gets here, right? Hey. Oops, just 1 second. Let me see if I can get.
I've explained now.
If anybody is unmuted, if you can go ahead and make sure you're muted. And we can hear somebody on there. So sorry. I have to just scroll through everyone here.
Please.
But basically being able to, oops, I found it. All right. So basically being able to say, hey, you know what? We have that ability to change that. And that's what's really important, is we get to decide how healthy we are, right? And sometimes we have stuff that trips us up along the way. But in the majority of time, we're able to say, hey, you know what? I want to make sure I'm taking care of myself, and we're just doing the best that we can. And that's really, really important. So let's go on and think about discovery number 2. So decades later, we know how to activate these abilities. And that's a key word there, guys, activate, because we're going to talk a lot about activation. And that's when our company was formed, to be able to look at this research and be able to see what the difference was that we could be making in people's lives to improve this. So in case you didn't know, we're going to have a little history lesson. So looking back in 2003, we've been selling products. That's awesome, right? That's a long time. When I look back and think it's 2020, which is kind of unbelievable, right? But you know this guy here, if you haven't seen him, John Quinones, if you haven't had a chance to watch this ABC investigative report, do it. We're not going to take the time tonight, but do it. This was back in 2005. And I don't know about you guys, but whenever these primetime shows come on, I'm like, I want you to envision yourself like kicking off your shoes, relaxing, and waiting for the conflict. Like, that's my favorite part, right? The guy's running after the other guys. He's trying to get away because he wasn't telling the truth, and all this commotion. And instead, they came into us and they talked to Dr. Joe McCord in this little lab and said, hey, what's going on? And you guys are doing this, and tell me more. Draw my blood. I'm going to take this stuff and see what happens. Awesome. Guess what? All positive. 2 weeks. They gave him 2 weeks. And as we talk tonight, our research is showing 40% reduction in 30 days. And John Quinones had the reduction in 2 weeks. How cool is that? So, as you can imagine, this was like the biggest blinking billboard of advertisement on the side of the busiest road, and everybody wanted information. So they're all trying to be able to get information from us, right? And we didn't really have our infrastructure set up the way we wanted it yet. We weren't ready to supply product. But to me, I look at it, and it was the perfect storm. Like, nothing could have even been better for us as distributors, and you guys, if you're looking at it as being a potential business for you, and even as a customer. Because what happened was, all these very prestigious universities and medical centers called us up and said, we want to spend our money researching your product. And guess what happens? When that happens, you are like, yep, here you go, take it. Let's do the research and see what happens. And when I say let's, I let them do it, right? So we're different. It's not us doing the research. It's independent universities spending their money to do that. So back in 2009, we got everything all in order. We tried some retail. We tried a few things, went on the internet, that kind of stuff. But just like how word of mouth is, if people aren't talking about you, they forget, right? And that's what happened to us. The ABC News clip aired. All these people are doing the research. but we kind of went away. And so we switched to direct sales and looked at the network marketing model in 2009, and it has knocked everything completely out of the park. And now, if you didn't know you were at a network marketing meeting, you are, but that's the best, you guys, because by the time I'm done, you'll understand why this is the perfect place to have this, a need conversation or an eyeball to eyeball conversation now in the situation that we're in, and nothing's stopping us. We have the ability to do this and help people activate and take an active stance against health and aging. So let's talk about theory one. So theory one is oxidative stress. Remember, I told you I lectured about oxidative stress all the time. I talked about inflammation all the time. I talked about Mediterranean diet, and I just kind of said the same thing over and over and change it as research evolved, right? And one of the things is that oxidative stress causes free radical damage. And free radicals are these nice little guys that are just ornery. They beat up everything and they bounce around in your body and cause problems. Bad news, okay? And as we continue to age, it's like we put this backpack on and we keep putting all these bad things in this backpack, and we get weighed down and we can't deal with regular stuff that's coming at us. So our body isn't able to fight off the things we want to fight off. And as you can see, oxidative stress can affect all kinds of parts of your body. And so what causes this? It's stuff we run into all the time. You know, you have your wireless signals that we have a lot more of, really extensive exercise, pesticides, toxins, alcohol, inactivity, medication, smoking, diet, just being here. I mean, just digesting your food and breathing causes oxidative stress. And so there's great things that we want to do to be able to modify this. And diet-wise, the foods that you're putting in your mouth is really important also. So we're talking about activation, right? And so when we're looking at activating, we're going to talk about our NRF2 pathway first. This is the one that's responsible for antioxidant production. And so if you didn't know it, your body can make a lot of that stuff. And how it's doing it is taking some little tiny bits of all 5 of those inputs. See that there? Milk thistle, bacopa, ashwagandha green tea extract, and turmeric. And you've heard of a lot of those probably. And what they've done is we put them together, and the synergy of all of them working together is what gets us the results that we want. And look at that long list of benefits. And there's more, but here's just a few. So we're looking at that, what I told you already, the average of 40% reduction in oxidative stress in 30 days. You don't even have to be able to pronounce the next 3. Superoxide dismutase, catalase, and glutathione. But that's cool, right? And then one of the reasons you love the glutathione, let me just tell you, is because glutathione is a really important part of your immune system. It's a really important part of recovery. So people recover faster from exercise and that kind of thing. And it also helps your body's natural ability to be able to repair and rejuvenate any cells, detoxification. How cool is a daily detox? If you didn't have to like follow the weird stuff that sometimes people do for detoxing, if it was simple as taking a pill, that's pretty awesome. And check out the last line, producing enzymes capable of neutralizing more than 1 million free radicals. So let's talk about that. Of course, I want you to eat well, right? Of course, I want you to supplement if you're wanting to supplement, but I also want you to think about this isn't supplementation. This is an activation. So this is an upgrade to your supplement regimen. Got it? Because why it is when we're eating something healthy, which we still want to do, let's say let's just talk blueberries, for instance, because it's easy. Let's just say 1 blueberry is 1 antioxidant. Okay, so I take in 1 blueberry, it gets 1 good guy is what going in, it gets 1 bad guy, that's it, it's over. Well, that's not good, right? Because I have a whole bunch of bad guys. We just talked about all the oxidative stress. So we want to make sure it continues to go, 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 go. And how we do that is through this activation of the NRF2 pathway. Or then we have this 1,000,000-to-1 ratio. So we take in our NRF2 pill, and it's going bad guy, bad guy, bad guy, bad guy, bad guy, bad guy, bad, just keeps going. And it works like a thermostat, which is important. It's not running, full bore the whole time. It's like a thermostat. When stuff's kind of weird, it's going to act up more. And when things are kind of under control, it just steps back a little bit more. And so we want to make sure that we know the importance of this NRF2 pathway and knowing that we have the peer-reviewed journals to back us up. That's so cool, you guys. And I can tell you 100%, if we didn't have the peer-reviewed studies to be able to back it up, I wouldn't be sitting here. Because this is really important to me. I want to make sure that all the information that I'm giving you is researched, well-researched, and validated, and makes sense so that people know and have that proof of what's going on. And so when we're talking about peer-reviewed journals and we're talking about where this is coming from and the research that's been done, check it out. There's a lot of great ones up there. including the National Institute on Aging, American Heart Association, Washington State, Harvard. I mean, you guys can read them. I'm not reading the Amsterdam one because that's too much. I'd rather say superoxide dismutase 3 times than try to pronounce the Amsterdam one. But anyway, back to this. Washington State University talks about NRF2 is likely to be the most important health-promoting approach in the foreseeable future. NRF2 may become the most extraordinary breakthrough in the history of health. That's awesome. That is just like, gives me goosebumps. Okay, so we got theory 1. Let's talk theory 2. Mitochondria and mitochondrial decline. As we age, our body's production of mitochondria decreases. And so that's not good because we need this constant power to be able to do what we need to, right? It's the powerhouse of our cell. It's like bringing in the logs to the fire. And if we don't have enough logs or we don't have a big enough fire, it's not going to work well, right? And so we want to make sure we remember that the body is always in constant rehab and fixing. So it's either fixing, it's removing, it's looking, are you damaged? Let's get rid of you, that kind of stuff. And this is this mitochondria that we need to be able to do this. And so this is through activation through the NRF1 pathway. And you'll see that it's similar to NRF2. It has 5 ingredients, and it's all of those 5 ingredients working in synergy together. And some of them you've heard about, right? You've maybe heard of the acetylcarnitine. That one I think of log trucks because that's the way I learned it when I was in college. Quercetin, grape skin or grapeseed extract, alpha lipoic acid, coenzyme Q10. I just had a great call with a lady today, and we talked a lot about that. It's really good stuff all mixed together to be synergistically working for you. So it's increasing cellular ATP, and we're not going to worry about the ATP cycle if any of you are super good at it. That went in my head to take my exam, and then it left. So I'm no good at the ATP cycle anymore. But it slows down that cellular aging, right? Improves sleep quality and cell repair. We know when we sleep, we're repairing, correct? And it also is helping brain health, circulation, and cardiovascular systems. So that is so cool. So theory number 2, hopefully I'm not losing anybody yet. It gets easier from here, promise. This one you've probably heard of. A lot of people talk about sirtuins. And sirtuins is kind of the cleanup crew, the mom telling everybody what to do. Get rid of that, put that away, whatever, right? And so as the body is running, it's causing us some waste and causing some other things. And it can slow stuff down if it's not removed. And so we want to make sure that we're getting the stuff out that doesn't need to be there. It also decides what gets, refurbished or removed. So there's so many things that are a result of sirtuins. And we want to make sure you guys know that our NAD supplement is way different than a lot of other people's. And the reason why is because we're not giving you like a few things and hope your body can switch and turn things on. We are flipping the switch. And so that's a really important thing to remember, because sometimes some of us are not able to make that change to be able to get those health benefits. So really definitely wanting to know. So we talked about our NRF2 pathway slows down as we age, our mitochondria slows down as we age, and then also our production of sirtuins decreases as we age. And so this is the next pathway we're switching on, is that sirtuin activity pathway. And there's the different ingredients. This time there's only 4. But looking at that healthy longevity. I also love the healthy inflammatory response, because some inflammation is important, but we don't need a whole gob of it, right? Like if you cut your finger or hurt yourself somewhere, it's okay to have it get red and as your body's trying to fix it, but we don't want it to be this crazy, ridiculous one. So we want to make sure that's there. The healthy vascular system, positive mood and motivation. I like that, right? Now that we're all kind of hanging out in closer quarters. Everybody needs a little mental boost every once in a while, and definitely something that you can purchase all together. So what we do is we call this the Tri-Synergizer. You can get all 3 of those, NRF2, NAD, and NRF1, either in the bottles or in the little packets. If you like to be able to just tear it open and be able to get everything you want all in one spot, you sure can do that also. Now, something else you might be interested in is you see, like down here on the bottom, we have all this information about, I gotta move my little guy here a second. We talk about inflammatory response, detoxification, all different things along the bottom, right? And it shows you NRF2, there's that 40%, there's your NRF1, and then we have our NAD. So each one of them separate is awesome, right? But look at that. That's why we have them sold together. Because when you take them as a Tri-Synergizer, all 3 of them all together, look at the increase. That just blows my mind. That's so cool. And so really looking at the power of all of those things together. Okay, so we talked about activation. So here's our pillars. We talked about activation, and check that out on top, you guys. I got to brag about us a little bit. Non-GMO, no artificial flavors, colors, or sweeteners. That's amazing. We have a vitality stack that has the NRF1, NRF2, has the probiotic, has a fish oil, all that together in little packets, or you can get them in bottles. Either way, whatever makes you happy. Our probiotic, I absolutely cannot stop talking about that, especially like throughout. I just like it through the winter and different seasons. I really love that because there's Wellmune that's added in there too, that you can definitely just go to wellmune.com and take a peek. Very well researched for respiratory infections. But the other reason why I love probiotics is because I did a lot of work in a gastroenterology office. And guts are hard, and it's so weird that they actually even work the way they're supposed to anyway, when you think of all the things that we're bombarding, and it's big responsibility, right? And a lot of our immune system is in our belly. Big difference with our probiotic is it's not getting damaged by that stomach acid because we have BioHACK technology on the outside. So it gets past that stomach acid to the small intestine where it's supposed to do it, supposed to get to do its job. And that's a really important thing to point out, because in your traditional probiotics, if they don't have any sort of coating or ability to get past that stomach acid, there's very, very little that's actually getting to where you need to be at, 2 to 4% compared to ours in 60 to 65%. So if you're comfortable just throwing away 55% of whatever it is you're taking, then don't upgrade. But if you're not, I wasn't, I upgraded to the probiotic, our probiotic. We also have an omega fish oil complementary product too. I absolutely am obsessed with fish oils, but that's because I come from a cardiovascular nutrition background. Absolutely love that. We have a weight management program. You see all our pillars here where we're very diversified, and that's really important when you're looking at a business decision, having that diversification. We have a NRF2 activated skincare line that has done amazing things for my skin, especially because I was on TV a lot and I was very conscientious about any acne that I had some troubles with as I was continuing to get older. I love our NRF2 activated hair care system, and it smells amazing. If anybody uses it already now, I know you love how it smells, kind of pepperminty, just smells really good. The Pet Tandem is basically Protandim for your dog, Protandim NRF2 for your dog. We have a little Yorkie. She's sitting beside me here. She's only 6 pounds, so she gets a half of one every day. So that bottle lasts her a couple months. And then we have Axio, and Axio is, I couldn't even stop raving about Axio because it's so many things to me. Really great thing to be able to, it's a drink, it's a powder you mix into water. We make it by the pitcher here because we just go through so much of it during the day. Great thing for my kids for helping concentration and thinking, executive focus. It helps get me off the couch, get my butt to work. But also it's 15 calories and no artificial sweeteners. That is unbelievable to me, because working in an office when I worked in outpatients with clients, it's very difficult to find something decent that doesn't have artificial sweeteners, that has a low calorie load. And this is it, we've got it. And it's only about $1.50 a stick. So very reasonable compared to a lot of the other things that people are doing. So again, remember, non-GMO, no artificial flavors, colors, sweeteners, bragging about that because that's awesome. I love it. And our hair care and our face cream and facial system are all very low for contamination or any of those products. You can look on that Think Dirty app. If you're familiar with it, it basically tells you how many chemicals and bad things are in it. And ours are like 1s and 2s. That's awesome. I love it. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit about how people can get started. You can be a customer and order any of those products, absolutely, positively, for sure. But there's options for getting into the business. So this silver pack, gold pack, platinum pack. But you can also get these products, items to be able to get product at a discount. And everybody loves to save money. I'm definitely there saving money. And we have free shipping too. So that's really cool. So it shows you that silver pack, it shows you what the picture shows what it contains, tells you how much it costs and what the savings is. And then you have your gold pack. And then your platinum pack is your big baby, gives you basically everything of everything, full-size products, and a great way to try out everything that we have in the company. So that's really cool. And we have a really super easy way to be able to order it. Whoever invited you on the Zoom tonight, They basically have this page. It's our personal shopping page. I don't have to maintain it, thank goodness, because I'm no good at all that fancy business. It just shows up as part of me being a distributor, which is pretty awesome. And I can basically put some information together in a cart. I can pick products for you, and I can share that cart with any of my prospects or friends, relatives, that kind of thing. Send it over to them, and they can just put in the information that they want to for checking out. And it's just a really easy way to be able to, I feel like it makes it so simple, like what people are used to, you know, how shopping carts work. So let's talk a little bit about compensation. Now, how do we make money? Well, we get paid weekly, which is awesome. So if I did something this week, I'm going to get paid next Friday, which is amazing. We have Smart Start bonuses, and we also have launch bonuses. We get paid monthly on the 15th of the month too, based on unilevel commissions, a generational match bonus, and elite pools. And if some of this doesn't make any sense to you, I'm just going to kind of touch on it briefly. So make sure the person that invited you can definitely answer those questions for you. And if they can't, we'll find somebody else that can for sure. But let's talk about getting profitable, right? Making some money. So one thing to let you know is that if your personal volume is however much you're ordering or your personal customers are ordering. So that's cool because your personal order counts as well. My personal order is probably close to 300 in volume every month because we're all using things, and maybe a little bit more. I don't ever really keep track that close. I just order whatever we're needing, right? And change it as I need to. But if you have less than 100 in personal volume, you're not going to get paid. If you have between 100 and 199 in volume, you get 30% Smart Start, which is cool. And if you want to, this is what you want to do. If you want to ultimately maximize commissions, you want over 200 in volume. And just to kind of give, and that gives you 40% Smart Start back. Now, just to give you an idea, a bottle of Nerf 2 is 40 PV. So 40 in personal volume. So you can see if you have your family members, your dog, or whatever, it adds up kind of quickly. And I absolutely love that about our company, that our personal purchases go towards our volume and our ability to make commission. So here's an example based on that over 200 PV or that 40% Smart Start back. You saw the silver packs, you saw the gold packs, you saw the platinum packs. So if I was going to be, there's me, see me on the right, or you, that could be you, or me. If we would sell, one of us would sell 3 platinum packs. Each one of those is going to give us $400 back. Awesome, right? So 3 of those platinum packs is going to give me $1,200. If I sold gold packs, I get 200 each one. If I would do silver, I get 100 each one. So obviously, one of the best ways to duplicate the business is to look at getting the best discount on product, right? Which is through the platinum pack. I showed you that. And getting to try everything because it's your business and you want to make sure you know what's going on. But also, if you duplicate this in your business, look how much faster people are getting not only volume, but commissions. This talks a little bit too about different products. So there's your, if you had the Smart Start bonus and you're getting that 40% back, there's your bottle of Nerf 2 I was talking about, and you would get $16 back. And then there's your dual products, your Nerf 1 and your Nerf 2, and that would give you that 32. And if you sold the Tri-Synergizer, the 40. So just to kind of give you an idea how we're getting paid within the organization. Lots of different ways. That's just one of them. And some of them are crazy amazing, and make sure you ask questions about the compensation plan because they did this on purpose to be able to make it so that we're getting the best compensation plan out there. And honestly, I feel like not knowing about network marketing as much coming in, I learn about it and I know that when it's done right, it's amazing. And it's just the perfect combination. So we have working from home or working from anywhere. Guys, I've worked from the side of a swimming pool in the middle of summer while my kids were swimming, and I was on the phone underneath a water slide trying to hide out a little bit but watch my kids and do a 3-way call for people. There's just so many different ways. If you have a phone and you have, you care about people and you have people that you know, that's all you need. The social sharing, you get a virtual office. I love it that I don't have to plan all that stuff, right? I don't have to worry about corporate and shipping and having inventory in my house full or nothing. I don't do any of that. It drop ships right from our corporate office and lands right on our people's steps. And that's the best thing ever. And also having that personal online store is super cool. I got to tell you really quick before I go on to the next one is I've just completed all of my things to maintain my registration as a dietitian, and I have to do that every 5 years. I also have to have a licensure every year with the state of South Dakota, and I also am a wellness coach, so I have to maintain continuing education for every 3 years for that one. And they just all perfectly melded this just now, and I just got it all done today. And so I submitted everything and got it all finished, and now I can breathe easy. But seriously, the amount of money I put into just that for a year or 3 years or 5 years is less than what I paid to be able to get into this business. And it's a multi-million-dollar international business opportunity. So just to kind of put that into perspective related to traditional business. So let's talk timing. You know, I could go outside here in Sioux Falls. We have a bigger amount of people in this area that are talking about LifeVantage, but I could still go down to our grocery store, and I bet 1 out of 10, maybe 2 out of 10 people would actually know what the heck it is. And so I love it that most of it is undiscovered. Like, people don't even know what LifeVantage is. And there's been a over 60% increase in wellness sales in the last 8 years. That's awesome. People are paying attention. They want to focus on health and wellness and prevention, and absolutely love that. And there's over 220,000 studies that have published on oxidative stress, and it just continues to grow. Check out that curve. I mean, it's just going on, and I love it. Now, one of the things that you'll be able to do too here, this next slide takes just a little longer to load for me, is you can go to pubmed.gov. PubMed.gov is an amazing opportunity for you to be able to go and type in your research, or type in Protandim and pull in the research. This is the National Institute of Health Information repository, library, whatever, where they put all their peer-reviewed studies. And so you can get the research that you want. And just for fun, if you want to compare it and say, oh, well, I bet this other stuff's in there, type it in. Most likely it won't be there. And it's on the branded supplement. So you see Protandim, you don't see turmeric, right? A lot of people with different products will say, oh, well, we have turmeric in our product and there's research on turmeric. But if you type in Protandim, it's on the branded actual product. So let's brag a little bit about LifeVantage. Why is LifeVantage such the big deal, right? Well, look at this is our CEO, Darren Jensen. He was named to, can you read that? I don't know if it's too small, but he was named to the Direct Selling Association's board of directors. That's so cool. We've been doing some launching in Spain, Europe. We got one of the best places to work on her for 3rd year running, and you can talk to our corporate staff and they love it. Like, it's just such a positive atmosphere and a good environment. We launched in Ireland. This is cool, named Erin Brockovich to its board. Everybody knows who Erin Brockovich is pretty much. Julia Roberts played her in a movie. And so it's fun to be able to have her on our board. We were a Stevie Award winner in the 2019 American Business Awards, so Best New Product. We launched in Belgium, and look at there was only one of them that was in 2018, that was with Darren, and the rest, this is 2019, you guys. Talk about a heck of a year. We were added to the Russell 3000 Index. Keep in mind, we're a publicly traded company. That means everything you can see, and I love that because I don't have to take somebody's word for it. I can dig and find it myself, right? We celebrated our 10th anniversary in network marketing. We had, this is really cool, our highest annual revenue in company history in our fiscal 2019. That's so cool. We added our NAD. We were in Long Beach, we're in New Zealand. I mean, it just goes on and on. Here we post our record 2nd quarter preliminary review in 2020. We got to close ring the bell and the close of the NASDAQ. That was cool. We get plastered all over. And we also have a contract with Real Salt Lake. If you're into soccer, you maybe have seen a little bit about that. And here are our open markets. And so that's kind of fun to be able to dig around and see what areas. We also do a lot of giving back. It's great to be part of a company that thinks of others. We're always looking out for each other, whether they're in our organization or they're cousins, or we call them cousins if they're not in our line. It's just a really positive way to be able to do life, like I was mentioning before. So let's talk about lifestyle. Let's talk about money. Remember, I told you that we're a publicly traded company, so this is actual money that we have to report in to what they're paying us distributors. So check it out. Check out right there, Pro 3. If you go over 2 columns, you see average monthly commissions at paid rent. And this is your average Pro 3, right? It's not the best Pro 3, it's not the worst Pro 3, it's the average Pro 3. And I don't even know if there is a worst or best or anything, but based on volume, let's just say that. So to be a Pro 3, you have to have 5,000 in volume going through your organization every month. And remember, we're a consumable product. So when people join us as customers, they stick around because they're using this product all the time, right? And I can tell you 100% that I will not be without this, and I'll be taking this the rest of my life, especially after seeing the research and seeing what's happened with it. So the average monthly check for that is $626, which is pretty awesome. And then you look at Pro 5. Pro 5 is going to be $20,000 in volume. Do you see where it says $3,000 right there? That's pretty awesome money, right? So you're looking at some pretty significant money over the year, you know, looking $36,000 a year on average. And what's fun is they've made it so that these middle ranks are very significant for income, and people feel that, and it feels good to be there. And once you hit your elite ranks, this is when it's serious money. Looking at $13,000 a month, could you imagine $13,000 check just landing on your dining room table every month on the 15th of the month? That is unbelievable. And so knowing that that's possible depending on how hard you're working in the business and how much you decide to go out and do it, right? And so here's the question. We've talked about all this stuff, and that's great, and I love it, and everything's good, but can I do it? A lot of us are sitting there thinking, you know, can I do this? And myself getting into this, I didn't know. I just wanted to be able to share it with my friends and family, and I listened to people, and when they talked about things, I brought it up and said, hey, you know, you mentioned you have this going on, and can I help with that? And I've got an idea. Would you like to try it and see? And you know, you just have these nice heart-to-heart conversations and use the system that we have. And having the system is priceless. And remember, I told you that before. You probably heard me say favorite many times because that's usually what I do. But the support system and having a system in place is amazing. And so knowing you don't have to reinvent the wheel, and you have more success when you duplicate what's done already for you. So keep that in mind. So we have 24/7 support. We're all here in this together. You have an amazing group of people that you get to follow or learn from or teach as you continue to grow in the business. You have an easy to follow system. It's launch, learn, lead. Just like tonight, there's people from all over coming in on this, right? We talked about that at the beginning and doing intros. And some of you guys are in my organization, and some of you are not. We just do this because this is fun and it's easy and this is how we work, right? That's not a bad way to do it. And you don't need anything special. You don't need anything special to be able to do this. You don't need to be a dietitian. You don't need to be anything special. You can just be a person that has a big dream and a big heart, and you just want to do whatever you can to help people. You see all these people making masks right now and all that. That's so cool. Or you just want to help others and teach others and learn, and you want to constantly learn new things. That can be you, but you don't have to always learn as you go. It's just really, it's hard to describe, but it's just for those people that want something more, that think they, you know, could use a really good group of people to hang out with and get to know and be able to build a business that they can pass on to their children. And just to be able to see how this can be done. This is it, you guys. And knowing that we have events and training to be able to help you. We have incentives that keep us all really focused and on task. And I laugh because right when they'll send out one, then I'm like, oh my gosh, we have this one too. Like, it's the compensation plan is good enough, right? How they reward us that way. But then they keep like throwing little things out left and right just to be able to help us out. And I absolutely love it. And then having that support community. So, you know, now after hearing all the information, now it's your turn to do something. I've talked for a long time. I don't even know how long I've talked. I wasn't really watching. Ooh, about 40 minutes. We're doing good. Unless my clock's wrong. No, I'm right. But now it's your turn to make the decision. You've heard all this. You know what you know. You can't unring the bell, right? You know that there's options. There's things that you can do to make a difference for your friends, your family, for yourself. There's things that you know now about, you know, activation, and that you get to be in charge of your health and make active decisions to help you stay healthy, or maintain health. Or maybe you've got stuff you're working on. Maybe you need that community, the friendships, the other people. And I feel like right now, all of us need that. And if that's the only thing you get out of it, that's okay too. But today and now is your time to decide. So you one of three things. You either need more information, which we're happy to get for you. So whoever invited you, say, hey, you know what? I've got questions. Let's talk, because they're going to want to know. And maybe you're like, you know what, this is awesome. I want to be a customer. Like, and that's the way I was when I first heard about it. I'm like, there is no way I'm leaving here without signing up as a customer, because I'm going to take this. If this is what it says it does, and I'm looking at the research, I'm getting it. Like, this is in my body for the rest of my life. And then as I looked into it, I'm like, you know what? Maybe I need to join the team. Maybe I need to be a distributor. I've never done this before. I don't really know what I'm doing, but this might be it. And looking at what I've already told you, can you see how this is huge? And the passion I have after 9 years of being in this business and knowing what I've seen and the things that I've done and all of that has just been amazing. So that's what we need you to do, is make that decision where you're at, what you're thinking, what you want to do, and how you can make LifeVantage part of your life in one of those 3 ways. So with that, I just want to tell you guys, thank you so much again for hopping on. Now I can see more people. Yay.
Thank you so much.
Yes, you're absolutely welcome. And if you guys have questions, make sure you follow up with who invited you. I've already told you that a few times. And I just want to make sure that all your questions are answered. And other than that, stay safe, stay well, and nice to see you. Happy Wednesday. Enjoy the rest of your week. Hi, Marisa. I see you, hon. Bye, guys.
Nikki.